Hey guys, how are you? So this is the daily analysis for today. That is the Sunday, 20th of January 2017. Will be presented to you by me, Dipanshu Singh. And if you wish to read more about me, you can go through this slide. And you can also follow me on Academy on this link to get updates on my courses and on my videos. So the practice question for today is regarding the 2016 National Geosciences Award in the field of Geo-Environmental Studies. So these are your options, and the answer for yesterday's question is that India has been ranked 6th in the Superpower Index. And a slight correction, guys, I'm really sorry for the typo that mentioned the answer as Assam, but actually Jeevan Rekha is a program by the government of Kerala, which is a first of its kind initiative in India to provide a centralized database for healthcare information and efficient service delivery to the people. So the first page news is regarding the immunization drive in the state of Kerala, and actually 5 states. There are certain apprehensions by the parents and a certain bit of fear among the parents about the revaccination, where they are thinking that it is a forced revaccination by the government, which they are not agreeing to. So these 5 states, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Goa, Lakshadweep and Puducherry, in the country, were hoping to launch a massive measles rubella vaccination drive to cover children above 9 months, at the age of 9 months and below the 15 years of age. But then there have been questions raised about the immunization drives in school, where the parents have expressed some apprehension and fears regarding it. But then the state governments are trying to convince the parents, because this program is really important for the success of the Indradhanush mission and the immunization drive program of India. But then Puducherry has said that it would not force the students to be vaccinated. Another very important news regarding the chemical warfare. So Iraqi forces have discovered chemical agent in Mosul. So they have discovered a mustard chemical warfare agent in the eastern Mosul, alongside a cache of Russian surface-to-air missiles, surface-to-surface missile. That is as per a report by an Iraqi officer. And Iraq and US forces have repeatedly said and warned that Islamic State might use chemical weapons. And the thing about this news, which is important, is that we need to know about this organization, OPCW, which is the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, which was awarded a 2013 Nobel Peace Prize for its extensive work on elimination of chemical weapons, and it's headquartered in The Hague, Netherlands. So very important news from prelims point of view, because the organization-based questions are too much in vogue these days. Now, Odisha government has rejected the panel constituted by the central government on the Mahanadi river water dispute with Chhattisgarh, because as per the government, the committee is not in accordance with the provisions of the Section 4 subclause 1 of the Interstates River Water Disputes Act of 1956, and because the composition of the committee is also arbitrary. But there is a separate provision of the Act of 1965, which puts the responsibility on the CELTA government to basically negotiate after receiving the complaints from the riparian states in principle of the federal relations, namely by the body consisting of the Prime Minister or the Union Minister of Water Resources, to conduct negotiation with the chief ministers of the riparian state, rather than appointing a committee which is to be headed by an officer of the subordinate office, namely the Central Water Commission. So what they want is basically the involvement of the Prime Minister and the Union Minister, rather than just a subordinate body and the subordinate office of the Central Water Commissions, to alleviate their concerns. And the stealth frigate deal with Russia is in choppy waters regarding because the deal has run into trouble over the pricing and the local construction with the transfer of technology issue. And India and Russia had basically signed an agreement on the intergovernmental agency agreement for the additional Kriwak or Talwar class stealth frigate. This has been very much in news, so very important. During the bilateral discussion which were held at the sidelines of the BRICS summit in Goa in October. So as per the agreement, 2 ships were to be procured directly from Russia, and 2 had to be built in India with the Russian assistance, as per the Make in India, as per the boosting the Make in India program. But then these factors of the transfer technology and the factors for the cost have actually pushed up the overall cost of the 2 ships, and it may seem as to ensure that all the 4 ships were imported from Russia. So even the local construction cost is not up to the mark, because it's almost like we have imported almost 4 of the ships, which is actually a setback for Make in India initiative. So important thing about this also is that you should read and be aware of the related information about the Defence Acquisition Council. The next one is that the Army's Madras Engineer Group has been adjudged at the best marching contingent among the services, while the CISF has been adjudged the best among the paramilitary forces and other auxiliary marching contingents that took part in this year's Republic Day parade. So as I've told you, that the Defence Ministry is actually responsible for the arrangement and organization of these parades in the Republic Day, and they are all actually responsible for the judging of these parades. So among the 23 tableau, the first slot actually went to Arunachal Pradesh's Yag dance. So this is also important from the history and culture point of view. So there can be some questions regarding these specifics regarding these specifics in the prelims paper. And Tripura's Teblu based on the Hojagiri dance was the second best. So guys, an assignment for you. So read about this Hojagiri dance and mention the relevant details which can be important for the exams point of view in the comment sections below. And the other news is that the third position was shared by the Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu's tableau. Now, interesting news I came across from the newspaper, that is the e-paper, that is Live Mint, that Donald Trump, who has proposed building a wall around the Mexico's border, will be actually bad for Earth and the environment. This is as per a study by scientists who have said that the 1,000-mile wall across the Mexico border would require an estimated 275 million cubic feet of concrete, and it would actually release as much as 1.9 million metric tons of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So very important news from prelims point of view, because concrete is one of the main components which causes the release of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, because one of its main ingredients, cement, and the cement industry accounts for 5% of the global carbon dioxide emission as per the Earth Institute report. Because once you're trying to make cement, it involves heating of limestone, a process that releases carbon, and also because it requires an equivalent of about 181 kilograms or 400 pounds of coal to crank out a single ton or produce a single ton of cement. So there have been certain alternatives which have been proposed. So a Montreal-based clean technology company has developed a type of concrete that actually can absorb carbon dioxide. So it has been suggested that it should be used. And otherwise, also it's not a very good idea to build walls around the United States and Mexico border. So this is interesting news as well from science point of view. So what is the Gibraltar Arc? So the Gibraltar Arc is basically a geological region considered one of the most narrowest landforms on Earth. So if you know that the Strait of Gibraltar, it's between the continent of Africa and Europe, and this is a part of the Iberian Peninsula of Spain, as well as it's the other side is on the Morocco. So what has actually happened? The scientists have discovered and have been able to prove that since then the large blocks of land with size about 300 kilometers long and 150 kilometer wide has rotated clockwise from the European side and anti-clockwise in the Rift Mountain range in the northern Mexico, bringing them actually closer. And the movement of this Gibraltar Arc has been very rapid. That is, has been 6 degree per million years in and total 53 for the block of Western Baltic system, and are compatible with both the opening of the Strait of Gibraltar about 5 million years ago as with the current movement measured with the GPS. So this research is important because it culminates with the reconstruction of the Gibraltar Arc 9 million years ago, which is a key moment in the tectonic history of the collision between Africa and Iberian Peninsula shortly before the closure of the connection between the Atlantic. So Atlantic Ocean is over here and Mediterranean Sea, when the Gibraltar Arc was situated more than the east at the present. So it was more towards the east. Now it has closed in due to the rotation and obviously due to the plate tectonics, which is also responsible for breaking down the Pangaea or the supercontinent into different continents like Africa, Australia, India, etc. So very important news for prelims. Now, the other business page news is regarding the first ever Investors Summit for the Northeastern states will be organized in Shillong, which will aim to showcase the region as a global destination for investments. And the focus will be on manufacturing, textiles and allied sector. So the 2-day summit has been themed as exploring opportunities in the Northeastern region. We'll explore the possibility of bringing in convergence of efforts of various central ministries and states in the region to attract investments. Now, Northeast is generally a very investment-deprived region, so this can actually boost the investments and uptick the economy of that region. Now, Indian firms have shown interest to rebuild the war-torn areas of Sri Lanka, that is the Jaffna. So representatives of about 65 Indian companies ranging from textiles to engineering are participating in the Jaffna International Trade Fair 2017 that has commenced on January 27. So the ASSOCHAM will explore the virgin market, that is the unexplored and untapped market in Jaffna, located in Sri Lanka's Tamil majority northern province, for possible business collaboration and to help commercially rebuild the former war zone. So the aim will be obviously to create jobs and bring in investments. Now, the other news is regarding the payment banks. So Indian Post has got the license of the payment bank as from the RBI. So if you look at the details about payment banks, so they can accept deposits up to rupees 1 lakh per account from individuals and small businesses. And this new model basically allows mobile firms, supermarket chains and others to cater to banking requirements of individual and small businesses. So obviously it's going to boost the digital transaction and move towards digital economy, and it will also be set up as a differentiated bank and will confine in activities to acceptance of demand deposit, remittance services, internet banking and other specified services. Obviously they cannot issue debit and credit cards, and in 2015, if you remember, RBI had granted in principle approval to 11 entities to set up payments banks. Or Airtel also recently set up a payment bank, and then the bank was then Paytm has also launched one of their banks. Now, other is regarding a bilateral trade between India and Iran. So it has actually been hit by the reluctance from banks to transact with Iran. So Indian exporters are actually complaining on the difficulties that are being faced by them due to some Indian nationalized banks refusing to deal with Iran-related transactions, according to the Apex body, which is the for exporters in the country, that is the Federation of Indian Exports Organization. This is despite the fact that in RBI, in a notification in May 2016, actually specified that the payment or remittances or reimbursement can be made from or to Iran in any freely convertible currency for imports from Iran, exports to the country, for which actually Iran appreciated India's efforts. Now, previously also, following the sanctions on Iran over its nuclear activities, India and Iran both had agreed in 2012 that 45% of the India's oil imports payments to Iran would be paid in rupees and deposited in UCO Bank, because UCO Bank does not have that much of exposure in US or European Union to attract sanctions, and Iran actually had to utilize the amount to pay for its imports for India. And if you look at the trade between India and Iran, it stands at $9 billion for fiscal year 2016, of which mostly is in the form of import bill, and most of that comprises of the oil that India imports. And to boost India-Iran trade, the exporters body had recommended RBI to allow Iranian banks such as the Persian International Banks and other banks to open branches in India. Now, EMO Hanover Fair 2017 will focus on India. So India Day will be celebrated there on September 20. So this fair, which is the world's premier trade fair for the metalworking center, will focus on attracting and high potential markets. The fair is being held at Hanover, Germany from September 18 to 23 after a gap of 4 years. So if you remember, the Make in India program was actually launched, and the logo was actually launched in Germany by Prime Minister Modi at this Hanover Messe trade fair. And it is being organized by the VDW Frankfurt am Main, Germany, on behalf of European Association of the Machine Tools Industries from Brussels, Belgium, and in conjunction with the Deutsche Messe AG, Germany. Now, this is an interesting article about the gut bacteria, and there was a research in Tamil Nadu about the effects of pesticide, which can actually lead to cases of diabetes due to the breaking down of those pesticides by these gut bacteria. So we'll look at this article very quickly, because it can be asked in prelims examination of this year. So our body basically consists of about 35 trillion cells, and gastrointestinal tract has about 3,000 to 4,000 species of bacteria. Among them, some of them are harmful and some of them are obviously beneficial. So the beneficial bacteria is known as the probiotics, and knowledge that the balance of microbes in the gut can actually deal with infection already underlies the global probiotics industry. So there are certain bacteria which are among the popular species which are beneficial for humans, and some of the major companies in India like Mother Dairy, Amul, Danone and etc. are among the leading producers of probiotic foods, functional foods in India. So these have actually proved their role in stomach infection, and evidence now shows that there is a distinct pattern of microbes which are healthy and harmful, which are found in the gut when stricken by the atherosclerosis, obesity, intestinal and other psychological related disorders. So basically, research on this specific issue in India can actually help design new drugs and treatment regimes to tackle the complex disorders. Now, the important thing about this study is that there was a study in Tamil Nadu on pesticides and why the uses of pesticide and their bioaccumulation basically can lead to cases of diabetes. So new research from Tamil Nadu shows that the trace quantities which can be taken in the form of foods from humans, which is sprayed to the crops, to basically in small quantities which are lethal to insect. But then there's a rampant misuse of insecticides. So the usage of this rampant misuse of insecticides in agricultural sector can actually lead to cases of diabetes, because the gut microbes in our and microbes in our stomach can actually break down these insecticides into short chain fatty acids like acetic acid, which actually leads to increased glucose production in cells and eventually lead to glucose intolerance and type 2 diabetes. So this issue now in India the focus should be on India to concentrate more on the research, since many countries have started research, and these countries have also initiated research on this this project. So the study is very important in India since we have about 70 million Indians affected by diabetes according to 2015 report. And specifically about this study, it was done and published by Genome Biology, which surveyed 3,800 people in the Vadapalanji Panchayat of Madurai district. And why organophosphatic, the mostly used insecticide in India, is a major cause, can be actually a major cause of diabetes in India, specifically in Tamil Nadu. So this is it for today, guys. I hope you like the video. So till next video, I hope you have a good day. Thank you so much.